Let the replant begin. We're running on baling wire and hay string around here, keeping everything together. We got a traffic jam. It's never a good sign when you got the disc hooked up. That means you either have to go air ground or tear up ground that's already been planted. Never a good sign. So good morning, guys. It is Friday, June the 3rd, and as you can see, got the disc hooked up, and I'm over here on a new farm, and I am having to tear up some beans. I don't know if you can see it or not, but very skippy stand. We planted these, and it was borderline wet. You can still see there's some wet holes out there, but it was borderline wet when we planted it, and then we got 5 inches of rain, so everything in this low ground, it's got to be replanted. Everything from this tree up we think is okay, but everything below this it's got to be replanted. So Dylan's got the planter, the corn planter, and he's over there replanting with it, spotting it in. We're just gonna put the other loop in the blade tractor. Well, I pulled it up to the shop yesterday and was putting it in. Then I hear a sound all of a sudden, and walked over there, and the valve stem was leaking on the blade tractor, spitting out fluid. But it's up there at the tire shop. It's being fixed right now, so whenever it gets fixed, it's going to go on a drill, and then I'm going to start drilling the 130 that we still like. And whenever Dylan gets done spotting in, we're going to pull in it together and hopefully knock them out pretty fast. But well, hello, we're out here planting beans today, replanting beans. We originally planted them on 15s. I've got the planter out. Robert's got the drill. I'm spotting them in with the planter. Robert's got the drill planting first plant soybeans. But I know you look in places and you say there's plenty of beans there, but you get out in places like this and just ain't hardly nothing. And there's some spots the beans are still coming up, but these beans, some of these beans done been in the ground for over 2 weeks, and if they do come up, I don't think they're gonna have much vigor. And it's June the 2nd. We can't be waiting around trying to make decisions. So I'm gonna fill this seed tender up, and I'll let y'all watch it, and when I get back in the tractor, I'll tell you more about what's going on.
what we're dealing with, figure. You see right down through there, where it's just showing up better with my eyeballs than it is on the camera. You couldn't hardly ask for no better stand. You see where it comes up on the rise, good stand of beans, but where it falls off here, it's not even just a tad wet. If it was a tad wet at all, they didn't come up. So spot them in here. We planted about 130,000 where there ain't no stand, and where there's a skippy stand, I'm putting about 100,000 in, backing it off about 30,000. We'll see the results in the fall. It'll probably be last pass in this field. There's some dips and stuff, so I'm spotting a few in, but look like we got a good stand over there. I can see them crossways, so that's normally a good stand. And you can roll these pretty good. A lot of what I noticed though is you better get off and look and check and verify, because I've been able to roll a few, and when you do a stand count, there just ain't enough beans there. Right up here on the hill, you see that's worked up. My landlord done some work on that back in last fall, and we no-tilled it, but when I no-tilled it, we noticed it was a little rougher than I'd like to see, so I had Robert go in there and hit it with the disc, since we were having a replant anyways.
See them little mounds out there? Maybe you can see them in there. Them are crawdad holes. And you know this ground is wet when the crawdads are coming out of the ground to get some air. Yeah. Pretty wet natured ground. Thought I'd give y'all a little history on this farm. And I used to work here in high school. I'd work for them, breaking horses, breaking colts. This pasture right here is where he'd keep his brood mares, and this right here where I've worked was a pasture, and he would keep his like 3 and 4 year old horses that we were breaking. He'd keep them out here, and he'd have a little lane, and we'd run them up here, and right up there, that building right there is a barn and an indoor riding arena, and we'd run them up there and run them into the corral, and we'd catch them and go into that arena and break them. He's still got a couple of horses, but he's done got out of racing horses. This big red building right here, it is used to be his equipment shed. He had a I think it's a 2010 blue and tan F450 King Ranch edition, and you want to talk about a sharp son of a gun. And he had a little New Holland tractor and a New Holland square baler, and he baled Bermuda hay, and I think right across the tree line here used to be his Bermuda patch, and it was 12 acres, and one time he baled 1,000 bales of Bermuda hay off that 12 acres in one cut. Luckily I did not have to haul it, but we used to have to haul it and put it in that barn right over there, and you want to talk about a hot son of a gun. It was a hot son of a gun trying to get all that hay in there. But yeah, just a little history on that farm. I thought y'all might like to know that. Our neighbor across the ditch over there, he planted beans the same day as we planted these, and as you can tell by the green tint, he got a stand. Now you tell me what the difference was. I mean, he turbo tilled it, but we ran a Phoenix over this, but you can see it. He's got got pretty standing beans over there. And we're over here replanting. Or Dylan's actually right over there. Oh well. Finishing tool, but that is the only tool we had available at the moment, because the other day we had we lost the blade on the dual chopper, and we have not got that fixed yet. We're running on baling wire and hay string around here, keeping everything together. I'm just happy we're out here in the field playing bait. Driver run the disc and then they run the Phoenix Air over it twice. Yes, they're better finishing tools, but we're just out here trying to get by. Doing the best we can. Do what we got. So, it's a little bouncy in the spotter plate, but for the most part it's doing a good job. 35 foot of bean planting power. Dylan's right up there for the planter. I'm in the old blade tractor. Got the drill. We're double teaming it. Like 130 acres. It may look a little goofy with 30s and 15s, but hey, it's just soybeans. Well, I thought I'd do some filming. I made it to the field. It's 112 right now, planted about 14.5 acres. Got the old Easy Guy 250 going. Drilling some beans. That field over there, I planted it right before the big rain, so I'm going to walk over there when I get this little farm done, see if it needs to be replanted or not. Might go ahead and replant it anyways. It feels weird. It feels weird planting with this tractor, because all of my life, all it's ever done has been a tillage tractor. The tractor that Dylan runs, that 4640, all it's ever done is plant. So when you're planting, you should be planting it. But we're making do with what we got. She does pretty good. Sitting there looking. Planting right down the Trenton Highway here. When mine and Dylan's granddaddy bought these tractors, he bought this 4640. It wasn't completely new, but it didn't have many hours on it, and it was mainly his big tillage tractor. It's geared a lot lower and a lot stouter than the other 46. The other 4640, all he ever did was plant with it. He used to have a 8-row Case H 800 Cyclo planter. It was 8-row with splitters with 2 big bulk boxes on it, and he planted with it. And then the 4230, he had a John Blue sprayer, and he sprayed with it up until he got that 3-point S&N sprayer, and that's when he started spraying with the planting tractor. The other 4640, the one that Dylan always plants with, he bought it completely brand new. back in, I guess, a 1981 model. This one's a 79. The blade that's on this tractor, he actually had on the front of that 4230. He had this blade and a set of clamp-on duals for that 4230, and I guess he'd go around and push limbs up and do dirt work with it. But Dylan actually put the blade on this tractor, the 4230. It was sold for a long time, but we bought it back 4 or 5 years ago. Bought it back, brought it back home.
We're planting along here in good little creek bottom farm. Planting some 30-inch rows. Pretty good ground, you know, it's 200 bushel corn ground. But it ain't but 7 acres of it. Planting these beans on an angle. When I'm planting 30-inch row beans behind 30-inch row corn, I like to plant them on an angle if it's where I can. Don't like those units riding on an old road. You get a lot of unit bounce. But if I do plant it with the row, I try to shift my line over 7.5 inches where the tires ain't running over the last year's corn stalks, and the unit ain't riding on the row. There's a sweet spot in there where everything just works right. But I have started doing the old seed shuffle, having to move some seed around. We've got the drill running today. Robert's running the drill. I'm running the planter. I think we've only been running like, we got started right before lunch, and I think we've already got, we done planted 30. We done planted about 40, 50 acres already in a short period of time, so that's good. Makes us wonder why we ain't been doing this all along. I just like to have narrow row beans if I can, but at this point in the game, I've done said, for lack of better terminology, I just done said F it. Let's get these beans in the ground. So that's what we're doing. We're planting beans. Hopefully we got, when we get this little farm finished up, we're headed to the last farm. It's a big wide open 75 acre farm. Well, it ain't wide open, but it's 75 acres all in one place. 3 fields, a 24 acre field, a 32 acre field, and a 12 acre field.
Double team. May look a little goofy, but who cares?
Lost the lid. That's the first time I've ever noticed that. I bet this fella right here's the culprit. What do you want to bet? That field right there, that little about an acre and a half, it's rough as a cob. And there's a reason it's rough as a cob. This belongs to the city of Trenton. And years ago, the mayor at the time decided it would be a good idea. They was replacing, they was tearing up Lexington Street and was going to build a new street. And they just buried Lexington Street out here in this field. I crap you not, there is a whole freaking street buried up underneath this right here. So that was the story I was told by the guy managing the ground of the city of Trenton at the time. These boxes I got on the planter right now, we got a set of boxes that we keep. We've got a set of boxes that we keep the corn meters on, and a set of boxes that we keep the bean meters on. These are the bean meter boxes. And there we go. Now it'll get down there and sit on there right. These are not the best boxes. We don't typically plant a lot of beans with this planter. We typically drill most of our beans. So I use the best boxes that come with the planter for corn. But I bought these boxes at auction and they are not my best. That big my dang scoop will not let the box get down on the lid sitting down on there like it should. That, and I filled the boxes a little too full too. I don't try. Them old boxes ain't the stoutest in the world. I try not to put too many beans in them. You can see where I hit that rock. Beans jumped out. And you may ask, why do you even plant this? I don't know. It always makes crop. It always makes pretty good crop. This little over 11 acres up here in the Y, it ain't the best ground, but it always makes a crop. They put a dog park in over there. I used to work where that dog park was. That is one good thing about having the drill on the blade tractor. They can push stuff out of the field for us.